Alright, by now, everybody's seen the second trailer for Captain Marvel. Yeah. Well, the first one was way better than this. The first one, it was interesting in that it had this mysterious tone to it, and a sense of wonder. And another word for wonder is Marvel. And it just was slowly rolling out this strange story, and it's all well, wait a minute, who is this? And by now, if you're following the Marvel movies, there's no mention of this until Avengers Infinity War at the teaser at the end. So it's, well, here's the story, and it takes place in the past and all that, and it was set up rather nicely, except that it worked more as a Nick Fury trailer. And it's predictable that Samuel Jackson is going to outact Brie Larson all over the place, and without even wanting to. And it gave me the impression that, they should have just set up a Nick Fury trilogy where he introduces other superheroes that he's met over his career. Maybe that would work better. The main complaint, of course, was Brie Larson's stone face and just lack of emotion altogether, as if she can't act. And it just, you get that feeling from it. And another problem for Brie is, she's not well liked because of her comments about, and just jumping on the bandwagon of dumb white dudes and all that stupid crap, and apparently is deluded enough to think that makes her sound intellectual or what have you. But none of that matters as long as she can deliver. And all this stuff about, it's misogynist or something, or sexist to say she should smile. It's not just smiling, it emoting. Everybody else in the trailer does brief scenes of what's his name, Jude Law. He's only in it for a brief second, that first one, and he's emoting all over the place. So and now, what could be the problem here? Is it just that Brie Larson's no good? Not very familiar with her. I saw her in the Kong movie. I thought she was just pretty bland and on it, and totally, you could have written her out and it wouldn't have mattered. But that's true of Hiddleston's character as well. They just sort of tacked on there. But anyway, it could be, based on what I'm seeing from the scenes here, and the talks of her, she has no memory of being on Earth, yet she clearly has been, and she's getting these flashbacks, and how'd that happen? And you get a little more of that from this second trailer, and it appears that the Kree wiped her memory, so perhaps in the process of doing that, it also took away any traces of personality and emotion, to where now she's kind of like Spock. Even though other Kree probably don't act like that, she does because of what was done to her. And of course, the only mystery left would be, why did the Kree do that? And I assume the story will reveal that. There's other little tidbits that come out that apparently it was thought that Jude Law was Mar-Vell, to link up the original story. The Captain Marvel was a man named Mar-Vell. He was a Kree officer or a warrior or what have you, and ended up fighting for Earth, even though he was originally put here to spy on us and all that. But there's that ongoing Kree-Skrull war going on, and there was all that mixed in. And then eventually he died of cancer. And before he did, he met Carol Danvers, and she was in the Air Force. And then some sort of incident happened along, and she got mixed up and got his DNA mixed up in her in some weird freak cosmic accident. Well, maybe not an accident. I think there was some other character. And I've heard that this other character, I'm not familiar completely with the original stories. I only had a few issues and that sort of thing. But I believe his name was Jan Rog or something like that. And he was actually an adversary of Mar-Vell's, and initially caused this incident that gave Carol Danvers her powers. And she went on to become Ms. Marvel, not Captain Marvel. Yes, decades of having her own superhero identity taken away because it wasn't good enough. And they needed a token character, so they gave her the name, and then she became Captain Marvel because the only way a woman can be seen as powerful is if she holds the position of a man. So, don't try to apply logic to it. So she's Captain Marvel now, but now the movie will be so far removed to any traces of its original story. That's too bad. They were saying, oh, it's too similar to Green Lantern. Not really. Maybe you shouldn't have put her in a green suit at first. She ends up in a red and blue one, of course. But so so who knows what the story will be? It'll be totally removed from it. But the most successful ones, you know, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, they were pretty close to the story. Now Thor, that one took quite a few leaps from it. The Dr. Donald Blake was completely written out. And that sort of thing. But Captain America and Iron Man are pretty close to their initial story. Being stuck in a war for Iron Man and having to make the suit to get out. And then Captain America, of course, the super soldier program for World War II and all that. But here, well, I guess it's a whole new story they'll just have to put together. I don't know. So it's too bad Marvel is not going to have an appearance in it, because at least it would have some nod to it. Because the reason he was called Captain Marvel was because his name was literally Marvel. So, but maybe they'll reveal that there's some family relation and her name is really Marvel. Whatever. But wow, it'll be a whole brand new story. Isn't that exciting? Well. And I gotta say, some of the effects on this didn't look all that great. They looked kind of cheap. So I'm not sure what to make of that. A lot of it was done to look as if it was actually filmed in the 90s. So I don't know that the computer effects needed to be lowered, because it doesn't even look as good as that. Maybe hopefully they just mean the practical stuff, stunts and whatnot, and you can notice the cars look old and all that. So we'll see. And perhaps, just perhaps, yes, it's her personality and emotions were drained from whatever memory wipe they did, and that could be the explanations for it. But or maybe they wrote it to fit Brie, because that's all you're gonna get. But we'll see. For the life of me, I'm not sure exactly why she was cast. I was just watching another video on this, and I think it was Diversity in Comics, and he was going on about Katie Sackhoff, and Katie Sackhoff was a name that kept coming up all the time. And now people were thinking, well, she's too old and all that. Actually, no. The character to have the experience that she's supposed to have, and already had a career in the Air Force and all this stuff, and now she's this Kree soldier and everything. Katie probably, they probably should have gone with Katie. And no doubt, she can knock it out of the park when it comes to acting. And she's woefully underused. But that's Hollywood for you. You can scream your Me Too crap all you want, and you're all for the woman, but boy, when they're kissing 35 goodbye, you just dump them. And so yeah, this probably should have been Katie. Should have been Katie. All right, thanks for watching and listening. Like and subscribe, and say, while you're here, why not check out that link description below? That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you.